Now, in a show of legal might, or be it a confidence builder, Azimio la Umoja has lodged its presidential petition challenging the results of the 9th of August presidential election. The Raila Odinga-led outfit wants the Supreme Court to nullify the results that declared UDA's William Ruto as president-elect. We debate the looming legal showdown on the program tonight. Also on the program, he is the youngest senator elected in Kenya's history. We speak to Nyandarua Senator-elect John Methu on the broadcast. But first, these are the stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, Azimio files petition at the Supreme Court challenging President-elect William Ruto's win.
Tumepata ushahidi ambayo itaibisha kila mtu. Nataka kama Wakenya msimame imara vile mmesimama imara tangu mwanzo. Ukweli itatoka na ukweli itapata nyinyi uhuru.
This as Odinga expresses confidence in the courts. Also tonight, more petitions filed at the Supreme Court to challenge presidential election results. And police are holding a man suspected of killing his mother in Migingo village, Kisumu.
Now, the son who was in the house with the deputy principal is just being held as the prime suspect. We cannot add anything more.
And Wairimu is our sign language interpreter. Good evening, I'm Abu Bakr Abdullahi. Welcome to the broadcast. Tonight, Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga now says he has enough evidence to prove the 9th of August 2022 election was bungled in favor of his opponent, President-elect William Ruto. Odinga, flanked by Azimio leaders and his supporters, tabled dozens of boxes as evidence at the Supreme Court. In his prayers to the Apex Court, Odinga asks the court to order for a fresh poll, saying 27 constituencies were left out and that President-elect William Ruto failed to garner the 50% plus one vote, citing election irregularities. Our senior political affairs reporter, Apollo Kamau, begins our broadcast tonight.
Azimio presidential candidate Raila Odinga, flanked by his supporters, made good his threat to challenge President-elect William Ruto's victory to table what he says is solid evidence delivered in a dozen of boxes and ferried by a truck at the country's Supreme Court.
Tumepata ushahidi ambayo itaibisha kila mtu. Nataka kama Wakenya msimame imara vile mmesimama imara tangu mwanzo. Ukweli itatoka na ukweli itapata nyinyi uhuru.
Odinga and Karua petition puts IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati in the center of poll irregularities, where they argue 27 constituencies were omitted in the final tally, stating Deputy President William Ruto failed to achieve the 50+1 constitutional threshold required to win the poll. Odinga now wants the Apex Court to annul Ruto's victory in a fresh presidential election called.
Chebukati willfully akafungua servers akapatia watu wa deputy president of an outgoing regime.
The petition singles out Chebukati, Commissioners Bolu Moya, Abdi Gulie, and President-elect William Ruto for committing election offences, asking the court to declare Chebukati as unfit to hold public office.
Nzito, hata nzito kushinda 2017. Nzito. Ushahidi utakaopelekwa, utakaotolewa, utashangaza Kenya na ulimwengu mzima.
In the petition, Odinga is further seeking orders to be granted access to the KM's kits and all servers used in the presidential election, a scrutiny of all spoiled and rejected votes, scrutiny and forensic audit of all Form 34A, B and C. Apart from the Odinga Karua petition, 9 other petitions were also filed by interested parties ahead of a crucial ruling to be delivered on the 4th of September. Azimio's petition filing at the Supreme Court was not just a protest against the August 9 vote, but the final quest for justice to have the election annulled. Apul Kamal, TV47 at the Milimani Law Courts.
Now, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Chief Raila Odinga has appealed to his supporters to maintain peace as they wait for the decision of the Supreme Court on the petition against President-elect William Ruto's win. And as Mike Kagwongo now reports, Odinga castigated Ruto for allegedly bribing leaders elected under the Azimio umbrella to join his Kenya Kwanza Alliance political outfit.
Few hours after filing a petition at the Supreme Court against presidential results declared by IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati a week ago, Odinga mingled with his supporters in Milimani, Nairobi. He urged them to remain peaceful as Azimio case is heard at the Supreme Court.
Nataka kama Wakenya msimame imara. Vile mmesimama imara tangu mwanzo, ukweli itatoka na ukweli itapata nyinyi uhuru. The truth shall set you free.
Tuko na imani tutapaulu, na yale uamuzi wa koti, hiyo ndio itakuwa ni ya mwisho. Lakini kama wakili ni muhakikishie kesi ni sawa sawa.
Kama justice itangolewa na kuibiwa, basi ulinzi wetu utatoka wapi?
Odinga's move was aimed at ensuring the peaceful coexistence in the country continues and psychologically prepare his supporters to accept the verdict of the 7-judge bench at the Apex Court. He seemingly warned the international community against what he termed as interfering with the keys, insisting that Kenyans can peacefully resolve their challenges arising from the electoral process.
Marafiki wetu kutoka ng'ambo ambayo wako hapa, tungependa kuwasihi wawe na subira, wachijiingizi katika mambo ya siasa ya kindani ya Kenya. Wache wa Kenya masuluhishe mambo yao kama wa Kenya. Sisi tunaweza kusuluhisha mambo yetu.
We see that most of you were observers, but some of you were weak to tweet even before the results were known. Some of you took sides. We want them to remain neutral. Kenya is for Kenyans. Kenya is for Kenyans. We shall never compromise our national sovereignty.
The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader criticized President-elect William Ruto for allegedly bribing leaders elected under Azimio la Umoja One Kenya to join his Kenya Kwanza Alliance.
After being denied the numbers at lower levels elections, like members of the National Assembly, members of the county assemblies and governors, these corruption cartels are working and buying leaders who have been elected on other parties' tickets to kill our democracy and also make the work of containing corruption at lower levels equally less effective.
In a bid to boost Kenya Kwanza numbers in the Senate, National Assembly and the Council of Governors, Ruto has cast his net wide, netting UDM party leader who is also Mandera Senator-elect Ali Roba, UDM deputy party leader who is also Marsabit Governor-elect Mohamud Ali, and Mandera Governor-elect Mohamed Adan Khalif. They followed in the footsteps of Lamu County Woman Representative Muthoni Marubo and Machakos Town MP-elect Caleb Mule, who decamped from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike Kagwongo, for that report. Now, August 29th is the new date for the postponed election of 8 elective posts in different parts of the nation. This is according to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission that has allowed candidates to continue with their campaigns until 48 hours to the election day. TV47's Moige William with the details.
reflect the true candidate.
The poll body, led by its chairperson Wafula Chebukati, Monday held a consultative meeting with candidates of various elective seats in areas where polls were postponed to discuss a number of issues, among them the precise election date, where the 29th of August was settled on. Earlier, the Commission had announced suspension of elections in 8 electoral areas, setting by elections for the 23rd of August before postponing the exercise for a second time, citing harassment and intimidation of staff.
So generally the issues that are affecting all the candidates have been discussed and resolved. Ours is just to ask the candidates to campaign peacefully and for Kenyans in those areas to turn up in large numbers and vote for the candidates of their choice. The Commission regrets the inconveniences caused. This was caused due to unavoidable circumstances which have been explained to the candidates, and they appreciate the predicament where the Commission was.
The affected areas are for gubernatorial positions in Kakamega and Mombasa, parliamentary elections in Kitui Rural, Kachiliba and Pokot South in West Pokot County, Rongai constituency in Nakuru County, together with the ward elections in Nyanki West ward in North Imenti in Meru County and Kwanjenga ward in Embakasi South, Nairobi County. Following an outcry from candidates during the meeting, IEBC has allowed candidates in the affected areas where elections were postponed to campaign for 4 more days.
We have also allowed the candidates to do campaigns for the next 4 days and stopped for 48 hours before the election date on Monday 29th.
Tuko tayari kwa uchaguzi, tumejipanga na nilikuwa tu hiyo siku kufika. Tutaitumia hizo siku 4 ambazo wametupa za campaign in the most effective way.
The commissioner stated that preparations for the mini polls slated for next week are in top gear to ensure the exercise is a success. Initially, according to IEBC, the postponement of the election in the areas was occasioned by court orders and a mix-up in ballot materials contents.
Ballot materials are already here. We are also in the process of preparing the KIMS kits to ensure they are in the various elective areas during this week. And the returning officers have also attended the meeting. They'll be preparing the staff who will participate in those elections.
Monday's meeting by the poll agency brought together all commissioners, among them the 4 who had earlier disagreed with the presidential results. The 4, led by Vice Chairperson Juliana Cherera and Commissioners Justus Nyang'aya, Francis Wanderi and Irene Masit, had disagreed with presidential elections results declared by Wafula Chebukati. Moige William, TV 47.
Elsewhere, Roots Party leader and 2022 presidential candidate Professor George Wajackoyah has summoned his running mate Justina Wamae for disciplinary action. Beatrice Watare tells us why.
In a notice dated Monday, August 22nd, and signed by the party spokesperson, Wajackoyah argued that Justina had made utterances that berated the party, including a time she endorsed Azimio's flag bearer Raila Odinga for president.
I'm speaking as Justina, who understands her role. It is to amplify the voices of the youth and the women, as well as consolidating the voice of the men. It's true the allegations that my principal and party leader is supporting Azimio, but we have not discussed that as a party. We have not agreed, and neither have I been consulted.
The second incident cited occurred on the 19th of August, where Wamae is accused of acknowledging their competitor's victory after she publicly congratulated the president-elect William Ruto through a post on Twitter. Wamae was also accused of continuously and maliciously misrepresenting the position of the party and that of the party leader, having blocked him and other party officials. The party further argued that in the 2 months that Wamae has been its member, she never bothered to pursue through the party's constitution and the party's communication guidelines. In the demand letter, Wamae is expected to present herself at the party headquarters in Karen on Friday this week. The statement comes just hours after Wamae told the press that she had advised Wajackoyah against filing a suit over the presidential election outcome. Reporting for TV 47, my name is Beatrice Watare.
Moving on, police are holding in custody a man suspected to have burnt his mother to death in Nyando area, Kisumu County. The body of the deceased, who was the deputy head teacher at Migingo Girls Secondary School, is said to have been found in her house Sunday night, burnt beyond recognition.
According to the Deputy County Commissioner in Nyando area, the deceased was found after her firstborn tried to reach her via her phone with no success, forcing him to go physically to her house where he discovered the body.
What was discovered was that we found that our deputy principal, who was called Madam Roslyn Nyawanda, was found dead in her house. And the body was burnt. Of course, we promptly informed the police, who came to the site, and the investigations has been handed over to the police to find out what exactly happened.
Police further said that the main suspect, who is also one of the deceased children, is said to have been found relaxing next to the body.
What we know is that on Saturday night, he had a son in the house, and there were only two of them in the house. Therefore, the son became a suspect, and the son is in the hands of the police as the investigations are going on.
KUPPET members from Kisumu branch have condemned the incident and called for quick and thorough investigation into the matter.
This happening has never happened in Kisumu. We condemn it in the strongest term possible. We remind the security apparatus in this country that they should leave no stone unturned. It is obvious the boy killed the mother. It is obvious the boy tried to hide evidence. And it is obvious the security situation in most public boarding schools sometimes are relaxed and don't patrol the staff quarters.
Zainab Mohammed, T47.
Let's get to matters education now, and the National Education Management Information System, a program used in registration of learners in schools, has been improved to include services that will enable the Ministry of Education keep track of projects undertaken in schools, which will, in a nutshell, help fight corruption in the sector. The piloting of the system begins Monday next week. Our senior education affairs reporter Sharon Baranga has the details.
The National Education Management Information System has been in use in learning institutions for close to 5 years. Basically, learners will be registered or transferred from their schools to other schools through it. But NEMIS has been improved to be able to perform other services. Through the system, users have a more direct access to data, which will help the government in fighting corruption, as heads of schools will be applying for capitation through NEMIS for accountability and transparency.
We are not pointing fingers at anybody, but when you know that whatever you are doing is being seen, if you are a thief, you don't come and pickpocket me when I'm seeing you. You want to come and pickpocket me when I'm not seeing you. So it's good we are already going back to the right track. But infrastructure management by head teachers and principals has also been facilitated on the system to aid the ministry to ensure that we get value for money. We can now watch if you are building a boarding house at Kanyenyaini, which is my district, and it is Kanyenyaini Secondary School, and you are building a boarding house for 750 people there. We can log in and see how you are doing it. If you wanted to hide, like as was in the past, where we have 10 shillings, and we want to use that 10 shillings to build a classroom at Kapsabet Boys High School. But Kapsabet Boys High School has an extra capacity. We will see that and we will catch you and take you to jail. This is what this system has done. But in the past, excuse me, please, you have money, you want to build labs or classrooms, and we collectively look for schools which have those excess capacities and try to rebuild them again. for example, there was a school that had 11 extra classrooms and was allocated money to build another 11 classrooms. Without naming names, that is not going to be able to happen again.
Parents have a role in the upgraded NEMIS, and that is they can be able to initiate transfers of their children from one school to another. Learners' attendance, newly introduced in the CBC curriculum, will also be available on NEMIS. Registration of schools can also be initiated on the system.
So this is a very powerful addition to NEMIS, which is removing the human role, because when you remove the human role, then you become more accountable. And that brings me to the third point, which is the accountability and transparency around capitation and funds application processes. I, as Professor Magoha, has taken all the bullets. Of course, the minister has to take all the bullets for all the faults of the previous system. You inherit the good, the old, and the ugly. And I cannot blame anyone. I want to blame our society for having accepted inconsistency, opacity, and all other manners for being normal.
Sharon Baranga, TV 47.
Elsewhere, the assumption of the Office of Governor Committee in Uasin Gishu County says all is set for the swearing-in of Governor-elect Jonathan B., also known as Koti Moja. The committee's chairman, who is also the county secretary, Edwin Bett, says the swearing-in will be held at the Eldoret Sports Club on Thursday, August 25th. At least 10,000 people, including government officials from the national government and other dignitaries, are expected to attend the ceremony that will start at 10 a.m. as required by the law.
Kuna utaratibu ambao unafuatwa katika kukabidhi mamlaka kutoka kwa gavana ambaye anaondoka na yule ambaye amechaguliwa. Kwa hivyo hii kamati ndio imekuwa ikifanya maandalizi ya hiyo sherehe pamoja na kuapishwa kwa gavana mpya na naibu wake. Hiyo sherehe itafanyika siku ya Alhamisi tarehe 25 mwezi wa 8, ambayo ni siku mbili tu kutoka leo. Kwa hivyo tumeita nyinyi ili tuweze kutangaza, kuambia wananchi ya kwamba wanakaribishwa kuhudhuria hiyo sherehe ambayo itafanyika katika Sports Club pale Eldoret Sports Club kuanzia saa 2 asubuhi. Tunaomba wakaaji wa Uasin Gishu, wananchi wote kutoka kaunti yetu ya Uasin Gishu waweze kuhudhuria hiyo sherehe, kwa sababu sheria inasema ya kwamba sherehe ya kuapishwa kwa gavana inafaa kufanyika mbele ya kila mtu akiona. Na hata saa ya kufanyika imewekwa kwa sheria. Inafaa kuwa hiyo ceremony ya swearing in inafanywa kutoka saa 4 hadi saa 8. Haifai kupita hapo. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuomba wananchi wetu wakuje. Mipango yote iko tayari, maandalizi imepangwa.
Now, the Kenya Manufacturers Association has appointed Anthony Mwangi as the Chief Executive Officer, while acting CEO Tobias Alando will take over as the Chief Operating Officer. According to the chairman, Rajan Shah, Mwangi's appointment will be greatly beneficial to the company as he brings on board a wealth of experience and expertise, having served more than 20 years in public policy, government relations, stakeholder engagements, and other fields. You're watching Kenya's fastest growing television, TV 47 News Tonight. Time for us to take a short break, but as